Hi, this is Ashley Kay, and I got a lot of questions from you guys about your breakups and how to get an ex back and how to fix things and what to do. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today is time. How long should you wait for an ex? I think that, sometimes if at the beginning, this is a kind of a coping mechanism that people use to say, okay, I want my ex back, I want them back now. I'll try for this time, and if I don't get them back, you try to set some kind of time limit or date to kind of cope with the situation. And I think that it doesn't always quite work that way. Okay, there's no sure things in life, and it's really the wrong way to look at something, because if you put a time limit on, I'm going to wait this amount of time, you're really saying I'm holding on to this person until this time has passed. That's not the right way to go about it at all. Okay, after a breakup, you really need to think about your relationship as one entity. Okay, one entity that is over. It's gone. It's dead. It's no longer. Okay, it's in the past. There may have been wonderful moments. They may be like a great person. You've had great times together. But if you've had a breakup, chances are some things about that relationship wasn't working. So you don't want to cling on to that relationship and want that person back along with all the problems. Okay, so you must think of it like it's dead, it's gone. You don't want it back. Okay, why would you want a broken relationship back? I don't know. So one of the first things you want to ask yourself is, do I want that person back? You need to do some soul searching here, because you need to really look at it like not from how much things you have in common or how compatible you are, but what were the problems? Do they do they fulfill my needs? Do we work well together? Or was it just that I screwed up? If you have made these mistakes and you realize they're all your fault, well, first of all, know that, relationships takes two. It's a teamwork, so it's not all on you. Okay, they made mistakes too. It's not all your fault. So first of all, get rid of the, blaming yourself for everything. That's not being realistic. You need to look at it very objectively, and it's hard to do that when you're very close to the relationship. If it's only been a week, it's hard to see it from a far away perspective. Okay, so that's why the no contact after breakup is really important, to give yourself that space to really look at it objectively and say, was that working or wasn't it? And then you need to say, if your answer is still yes, I want that person back because they were right for me and all this, then you need to say, can I accept my ex moving on without me? Can I accept not being with that person? This is hard because if you're too close to a relationship, once again, it's hard to do that. It's hard to just be happy for that other person and allow them to move on and allow yourself to be okay with that. But remember, after a breakup, you're not together anymore. You're not like this couple that's together. You're like two different people. And really, this is the best way to look at it. You're two separate people. They're not entitled to tell you anything. They're not entitled to do anything for you anymore. And you aren't either. Okay, you're two separate beings. Like at the start of the relationship, when you didn't know each other, you weren't, you didn't have to do certain things for one another. And this is the problem with relationships. When you get into one, you start to feel like, okay, they're meant to do this and I need to do this, and you put yourself into roles and all that. Okay, but when you're apart, when you're single, you don't need to do that, and it puts the pressure off too. You don't want that pressure when you want to, when you want to reattract them back. You want to be two separate people. Okay, and once you realize this, once you go, okay, we're two separate people, I've got my brain, my life, and my things going on. They've got their thing. They don't need to tell me what they're doing. I don't need to tell them what I'm doing. that sort of thing, then you need to, you need to accept that, and then you need to figure out, okay, what is going on? Because some people, when they get into a relationship, all their plans are about the relationship. It's about, where is the relationship going? What holidays are we going to plan for? What are we doing together? What goals are we setting together? That sort of thing. So once they're out of the relationship, they realize, oh, I need to make plans now for myself, myself as an individual, not with this other person tagging along. And that can be intimidating for some people, but it can be really empowering too, because really you want to have that independence. Okay? Even when you're in a relationship, you should aim to keep some of that independence, or else, you become too dependent on each other, then that can be really bad for a relationship. That can stifle a relationship as well. So you want to keep that independence. So that is why, along with no contact, you need to do some self-evaluation, some planning for yourself, and say, okay, this is my direction in life. This is what I want to do. Plan some things for yourself. Okay. And, your ex, and you might be thinking, well, how does this, if I am going down this path and my ex is going down this path, and you're going in different directions, that doesn't feel right. Okay. And it's not going to feel right in the beginning, but remember, you're not together anymore. You're two different people. You're separated, and it's a good thing, because remember, when you were in a relationship, clearly that relationship wasn't working. Whatever conflict was in there, it wasn't gelling right. Okay. And that's why you broke up in the first place. This is why I always ask people, why did you break up? You don't want to think of the relationship as a waste of time, because it's not. Okay, you had this thing together, this memory, these experiences, and what makes it a waste of time is if you don't learn from it. So you need to ask yourself, what did I learn from this relationship? And you need to actually think about it. Like, was it because I took her or him for granted? I just didn't pay them any attention, or, whatever it is. You need to understand, okay, this is what I could have done better. So next time, whether it's going to be with your ex or with someone else, next time to avoid that, or next time what to do, what you could have done differently. So it's a learning experience, right? So it's like taking that relationship and not throwing it away, okay? It's taking the memories of that relationship, understanding, hey, had some good times, had some bad times, and these are the lessons I've learned from that relationship, putting it in a ball, storing it in the back of your head somewhere, and beginning, okay, that's what I learned. That's very valuable. Okay? That experience, whether it was a year, 5 years, 10 years, 6 months, however long that relationship was, you should store it away, the lessons in your head, so you don't make the mistake of making the same mistakes over and over again with different people, because you don't want to waste your time. So why would you want to do that? So that's very important, to store it away. So once you stored that away, now you can move forward. And I see a lot of people years down the track, sometimes years after a breakup, still wanting their ex back, still in love with their ex. And I think those people spend way too much time looking backwards. Okay, they're looking back into that relationship and all the problems. Remember, that relationship wasn't perfect. It had problems too. They spend too much time looking backwards, and they're not allowing themselves to move forward. The key thing I want you to remember, though, is that you want that old relationship to be wrapped up in that ball and put away. You don't want to keep it right in front of you all the time looking at it, because you're looking at it, a relationship that is broken. And if you're trying to get your ex back with this old relationship stuck in front of your head, then they're not going to want to get back in a relationship with you, because they can see that it was broken. I mean, if they left, then they know it was broken, and they don't want to go back to all the old problems and all the rest of it. So if you put it behind you and look forward, then you have much more of a chance to actually create something new, learn from your mistakes, do it differently. And sometimes it's just realizing that they're just not the right person for you. You know, if you go through no contact and give yourself that distance away from the breakup, then you might realize, I don't even want that person. They're not that compatible with me. Oh, I didn't really like them, their behaviors and this and that anyway. Okay? And you won't be able to get to that point unless you give you that space. I really think that the best way to look at it is that you don't want to wait. Don't say between now and 6 months, I'm going to wait and hope. Okay, the best thing to do, because that's very passive. That puts you in a submissive, passive role of waiting and not taking action, right? So you want to always set actionable plans for yourself. So you want to say, okay, right now I've decided I'm going to accept the relationship. It's over. I appreciate the relationship for what it was, the happy memories we had, the lessons I've learned, a story in a way in my head, and now I'm going to focus on other things, on where my life is headed now, okay? And if my ex happens to come along and want to talk and things happen, great. Maybe something can happen, but maybe not. I'm fine either way, because you want to be open. You want to be open to the idea of anything coming into your life. Because if you close yourself off and say, I'm going to try really hard to get my ex back for the next 6 months, and then move on, well, then you're giving yourself, you're making it hard for yourself the next 6 months. Because if you don't get your ex back or things don't go well, then you're going to put yourself down. You're going to feel like a failure, or feel right back where you started, that things aren't working. But if you start right now and say, okay, doesn't matter, I am going to do this no matter what. Because remember, you can't control your ex. You can only control yourself. And if your ex actually wants to work on a relationship with you, they will contact you. They will want to develop keep in contact and develop some sort of relationship, a new relationship. And you want to take it slowly and easy at that point, because you don't want to, like I said, be constantly bringing back the old relationship, old problems. You will eventually want to talk about it, because to discuss it. But in the initial stages of re-courting someone, re-attraction, you want to keep things light and fun and casual. Same with a normal dating situation. So if you think of it like that, then it's easier. It's easier on yourself to think, one day at a time. It might be hard today, but tomorrow will be easier. That's how you need to look at it. That's the best way to have a second chance with your ex, because your ex, if they care about you, if they love you, will most likely want to talk to you, want to contact you, and see if there could be a possibility that things can be better this time. And the only way you can try again and hope for it to be better is that if you're looking forward, both of you, and not constantly bringing the past up, bringing what's gone wrong in the past, and talking about the problems. So I hope this video has helped, and I'll try to do more of these videos in the coming month. And please send your questions to me on Facebook so I can answer them in these videos. So go to my website below and my Facebook page, like me, and I'll talk to you soon.